What's up, everyone? This is Grayson the Dean 221 Nichols here on the Elite Rounders YouTube channel, and we got the newest episode of High Stakes Poker. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm really excited about this one because one of my favorite players of all time just got added to the lineup. We've got Mr. Phil Ivey now with the new season. So we have Tom Dwan, and Ivey facing off, which is what I'm really excited about. You know, they have one of the most famous hands in high stakes poker history that they've played together. I'm actually going to go back and do a video, a little throwback to that one, hopefully next week for you guys. So definitely check us out to find that. But really excited to watch these two battle each other. And not only do we get to be, you know, just spectators and watching Ivy battle Durr, but we get to be graced with the presence of Mr. Phil Hellmuth himself as well. So it's always fun to watch the poker brat in action. I was fortunate to play with him a couple times, and yeah, he's a total trip. So also, you know, we've got Brandon Adams, well-known gambler, really smart, tough player, and Chamath, who is a very famous angel investor, well-known. You know, I believe he invested in Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. But he's got money everywhere. Really smart guy. He's been getting into poker a lot lately, so it's really cool, good for the game to have awesome people like him involved. So cool to see him at the table as well, and also kind of a riot to hear one of the most brilliant financial minds out there at the table, yet we're still hearing finance advice from Phil Hellmuth, of course. So, that guy's his ego knows no bounds. But let's hop into the hand. There weren't too many totally wild hands in the first episode with this new group. Dwan and Durr and Ivy in particular were somewhat, calm for what we've seen from them. But I found this one hand to be kind of interesting for a few reasons, so I wanted to talk about it. But for those who haven't checked out the old ones, again, this is the High Stakes Poker. New episodes running every week on Poker Go on Wednesday nights. 400, 800 game. And as you see, we've got Tom Dwan, Brandon Adams, Hellmuth, Ivy, and Chamath involved in this hand. So let's just hop right into it. Ivy as the queens opens under the gun for 2K. And he gets called by basically everyone except for Hellmuth, Chamath, and Dwan with some suited connectors, and BA with the ace-7 suited. Flop's pretty amazing for Phil. He nails a set, but Adams hits pretty strong too with the top pair and the nut flush draw. Brandon checks, Phil bets, Chamath and Dwan get out of the way, of course, and Brandon has a spot here. Now, in some situations, I think raising could be reasonable against weaker opponents, but certainly not against Ivy. I think a raise would be problematic here because if Brandon makes it 20,000 to go and Phil calls, the assumption is that Phil has ace-10, ace-jack, ace-king, or better, right? So Brandon could be in trouble unless he hits his club. So don't really like raising. I think this is a pretty standard spot to go ahead and just call in Brandon's seat, which I believe he did. Sure enough, turn brings a red king, if I'm not mistaken. And Brandon checks again. Another standard check from Brandon. I can't imagine betting in this spot and allowing Phil to raise. That could be really bad for us. And Brandon goes ahead and checks. Phil bets 22K, and sure enough, Brandon calls. Pretty easy spot to call. I think there are a few worse hands Phil could have in this spot. Maybe some semi-bluffs as well, like smaller club draws, like a jack-9 of clubs perhaps. But it is also a spot where it's pretty easy for Phil to bet with value with a lot of stuff, right? For value with a lot of stuff. Ace-king, aces, kings, even ace-queen, obviously. So queen, there's a number of things he can have for value. So I think it's a spot where Phil's going to have more value bets than bluffs, but Brandon still has the nut flush draw. So it's a no-brainer, just check call for him in this spot, and he just has to hope for a club. And no luck for Brandon. He misses, so he does still have the top pair. He goes ahead and checks, and Phil bets 50K, to which Brandon immediately folds here. And I think that's fine. I think that makes sense. Usually you want to think about it a little bit, obviously, because he does still beat bluffs here. It is a reasonable bluff catcher. However, think about the types of hands Ivy would bluff, right? It would likely be something like a missed draw, right? And Brandon has all of the clubs, so it's so unlikely that Phil was drawing as well. And like we talked about on the turn, Phil has so much more of that value range than a bluff range here. So I do agree with Brandon's check fold here. Makes total sense. I thought it was kind of funny that he was playing some sort of meta game with the dialogue afterward. He said something as they went to commercial. He goes, "Oh, well, I really kind of, blew some chips there," like acting as if he was making a loose speculative call on the turn, when in actuality he had a pretty big monster and one of the hands that is the most clear-cut turn call we might ever have in that situation. So I thought that was kind of sharp by Brandon, maybe just throwing out some vibes that he's getting a little more loosey-goosey than he really is. And it was also funny because Gabe Kaplan, the announcer, mentioned, he goes, "I always get this feeling like Brandon's about to raise at any moment." So whatever he's doing a good job of giving off those vibes for sure. So Brandon goes ahead and folds, and Ivey scoops the pot, something that we don't get tired of saying on high stakes poker, right? So, not the craziest hand, but it's cool to see how this group started getting used to each other. And I'm really looking forward to next week and kind of seeing some more of these Dwan versus Ivy battles. In the first hand they battled this week, they actually both hit trip fives with an ace kicker and a king kicker. And I thought things were going to blow up. And I was like, oh, this is the hand to go talk to everyone about, make a video, see what everyone thinks. And it ended up being really tame. They only got like two reasonable sized bets in, and I was surprised, So definitely looking forward to the next few ones and hope things get a little bit crazier like season 6 when they first went to battle. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out our videos on the Elite Rounders YouTube channel where we'll be doing 2 of these every week following the new Poker Go high stakes poker season every Wednesday. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Best of luck on the felt this week. I'll see you guys next week.